Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and welcome back, Secretary Moniz. I want to first thank you for taking a trip out to Livermore, California, my district, and visiting Lawrence Livermore and Sandia National Laboratories. The employees there greatly appreciated it, and in this time of sequestration, and especially after the government shutdown, it was a boost in morale to have our Secretary of Energy come visit the scientists who are working at those laboratories to keep us safe, but also to move us forward in our energy security pursuits. I want to also briefly mention the Neutralized Drift Compression Experiment 2, or NDCX2, which is a heavy ion fusion and basic science research tool. I'm aware that earlier there were problems with standing up this project, but I'm very pleased to hear that under new management team at the Lawrence Berkeley Lab and a peer review path forward, that there is now potential to leverage the federal investment already underway and for production of excellent science. And so I'd like to commend the department for working with NDCX2 to explore the benefits of exploring or furthering this operation. But as far as the budgeting goes, I want to talk about NIF, the National Ignition Facility at Lawrence Livermore, and I was pleased to see NIF was spared from further drastic cuts, and I hope you and the President will continue to provide adequate funding so that the groundbreaking science there can be achieved. And I wanted you to tell me your plans as to how the Office of Science could work more closely with NIF as we seek ignition.
Thank you. And by the way, let me just say the visit was terrific, and it's always fun to be at a lab, and the Livermore visit was great. I just want to note that it wasn't only me who went, but my entire Secretary of Energy Advisory Board as well. And many of them had never seen NIF and were suitably impressed at its scale, for sure. NIF is doing some very important work. It is providing very important contributions to our stockpile stewardship program. As far as and we are making sure that we preserve at least some degree of some of the basic science work at NIF, as well as at our other high energy density facilities, which are really kind of a threesome. NIF is by far the biggest, but the Z machine and the Omega machine as well. In terms of the Office of Science, I think the first issue is, to be honest, that until the ignition is achieved, then clearly the ideas of going into the fusion direction, I think, would be viewed as kind of premature. So I think that would be a very important milestone. As you know, progress towards that milestone is being made. Some substantial progress was made only in the last few months. We have to get there.
Sure. And we look forward to having you out there when we reach ignition, which we hope is sooner.
That will be a great day.
Later. Also, I wanted to mention something that came to light yesterday, and I asked the Secretary. I asked members, committee witnesses at the Homeland Security Committee, hearing about this. We learned that just recently, Al Qaeda in their magazine Inspire used a picture of SFO Airport and a message encouraging its members to detonate an explosive device. And it's not clear as to whether that was directed at SFO Airport in the Bay Area or if it was just a general message. But it has raised concerns and reminds us that we remain under attack from Al Qaeda, that they do seek to carry out a terrorist attack. And Lawrence Livermore and Sandia National Laboratories both do great work in protecting against the next attack. And I wanted to know how this budget will reflect our priorities of continuing to have our scientists not just do nuclear weapons stockpile stewardship, but also work to prevent a terrorist attack and support law enforcement efforts.
Thank you. The non-proliferation budget, unfortunately, was reduced again within our constraints. Let me just say, without going into great detail, that the stockpile stewardship plan that was submitted last year was budgetarily unrealistic, and we had to get that back under control while preserving our commitment to the stockpile basic plan, without going into detail, but it's relevant to this, is that when we went through the process with the National Security Council, the Department of Defense, we came to a budget that we felt, even though it reduced by over $1 billion the life extension program in the FY17, FY20 period, by stretching out some programs consistent with military requirements, we just needed that increase in the weapons program. And then with the constrained 050 budget, neither nonproliferation nor environmental management could come in at the same budget. Still a strong program, and the labs will be critical in securing nuclear materials, radiological sources. Secondly, we are, in fact, right now there's an academy study, and there is other work that we are doing looking at streamlining what is currently called, a word I dislike, to be perfectly honest, work for others, because they aren't others, they're part of our team, like the Department of Homeland Security. And as you know, Livermore in particular is probably our lead lab for working on the Homeland Security issues. So this is going to be a major focus, and again, we're balancing budget priorities within a fixed budget.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and I yield back the balance of my time.